With the soft clink of glass, it rolled from Sanan-san's palm to the floor of the common room. His face warped in pain and he collapsed to the floor. His hair began to turn white. It became clear to me that his pain was something no ordinary person could handle. Sanan-san, you have to hold on! Through his fingers, I saw his maddening eyes. Before me were the eyes that greeted me on that first night in Kyoto. Behind me, I heard the door slid open. Sanan-san looked behind me, over my shoulder.
Okita-kun, desu ka?
Konbanwa, Sanan-san.
It seemed like Okita didn't even look at me. His eyes completely focused on Sanan-san. Then briefly the small bottle on the floor before back to Sanan-san.
Oshiete kurete arigatou.
Okita, Sanan-san is... Sanan-san stared at Okita, his breath ragged and pained, like air struggled to stay in his chest.
見ての通り、実験は失敗です。沖田君、お願いできますか？
ええ、わかってます。
His expression flashed into a familiar grin. Even after Okita drew his sword, it still didn't occur to me what was about to happen. The polished tip of Okita's blade was pointed directly at Sanan-san.
安心してください。きちんと僕が解釈してあげますよ。
飲み込みが早くて助かりますよ。さすが新選組の剣だ。
Sanan-san exuded calm at the sound of Okita's response. I held my breath, unsure if I wanted to see what was about to happen before me. Okita... You're not serious, are you? You aren't really going to kill him, are you? My voice shook with disbelief, and Okita's eyes paid me no attention.
君さ、やめてくれないかな、そういうの。よそ者は黙っててよ。
But wasn't Sanan-san his comrade? Or his friend? Everyone seemed to give their heart and soul to the Shinsengumi, but not like this.
鬱陶しいんだよ。新選組大使にでもなったつもり。
He didn't even move, but his tone hit like a slap. I've been living with them for so long that my initial fear almost completely disappeared. I felt like I'd found a place for myself.
忘れたって言うんならもう一度言ってあげるよ。君は利用価値があるから生かしてあげてるだけで、僕たちの仲間じゃない。
His words shattered my already breaking heart. But just then... Sanan-san screamed in pain, and I saw him kick the floor. Then I heard a horrific sound, like meat being cleaved and resounding through the darkness. Peeking over Okita's back, I heard the loud thud of a body collapsing to the floor, and around Okita's foot pooled the dark red puddle of blood. Sanan-san? I was trembling as I watched the blood trickle.
近づかない方がいいよ。
Okita's arm appeared in front of me coldly. What? But why? I gave him a reproachful gaze, but he showed no signs of faltering.
何度も言わせないでくれる。近づくなって言ってるでしょ。深手は負わせたけど、また襲いかかってこないとは限らないしね。あの薬を使ったら、この程度じゃ死ねないんだよ。
So, Sanan-san is still alive? Okita nodded bitterly. His body locked into a defensive position.
死ねないって言ってるんだから、生きてるに決まってるでしょ。
I was relieved from the bottom of my heart. Thank goodness. This good news, however, didn't mean we could let our guards down. Sanan-san could lose his senses again and potentially mortally wound us. But for now, at least, Sanan-san is still alive. After Sanan-san collapsed, the captains rushed into the room. They must have heard the commotion from the common room. Everything glowed white afterwards, and I realized that I was in a daze. None of their words stuck in my ear, and I wobbled back to my room.
まったく手間がかかる子だよね、君って。
Okita had taken me back to my room, and I heard him as soon as he opened the door for me.
説明してくれるかな。どうして三男さんと一緒にいたの？
Okita was never particularly pleasant to me, but his tone was even harsher than usual. I felt like there was someone in the common room. I was curious, so I had a look. I found Sanan-san in there. Okita's lackadaisical response seemed disarming, and he just scanned me. Although my mind had cleared somewhat, it was still difficult to keep my thoughts organized. One, however, rose quickly to the surface. Is it true that my father had something to do with that stuff that Sanan-san drank?
三男さんから聞いたの？それ。あの薬についても。
He said it makes you stronger, but it drives you mad. He fixed his eyes wearily on the ceiling above us, sighing before eventually answering my question.
君は薬をここに持ち込んだ人の娘だし、狂った大使とも実際に会ってるし、少しぐらいなら聞かせてあげてもいいかな。本当なら殺しちゃいたいところだけど。
His manner of speaking was far removed than his usual joking self when he mentioned killing, but this time it felt like he meant it. He could kill me at any time.
薬のことについて何か質問ある？一つくらいなら答えてあげるけど。
I desperately searched for the words. Why did the Shinsengumi get involved in something like this?
僕たちの役目は今日を騒がせる不逞労使を取り締まることだけど、簡単な仕事じゃないっていうことぐらい君にだってわかるよね。
Among the Ronin, there are plenty that are actually skilled swordsmen. When I was on rounds, I saw many such men fighting and dueling amongst themselves.
今日に来たばかりの頃はとにかく人手が足りなくてね。僕たちの名前なんて全然知られてないし、給金だって満足に出なかったからさ。 入隊希望者なんてめったにいないし、たまに来ても得体の知れないゴロつきばっかり。そんな時、幕府の人が薬の実験を持ちかけてきたんだ。
An experiment. That must have been what Sanan-San was referring to. So you knew what the side effects were and you still made them take it?
もちろん彼らも承知の上だよ。新選組にはね、局中ハットっていうのがあるんだ。隊をまとめるための決まりみたいなものなんだけど、それに背くと即切腹を申し付けられる。
Cut yourself open?
あれ、何を驚いてるの？武士の責任の取り方って言えば切腹しかないじゃない。
Traditionally, when samurai disgraced themselves, they drove their swords into their bellies. I had thought such traditions were obsolete, and that now the worst they could do is pretend to cut themselves open with a fan.
でもまあ、どうせ死んじゃうんだし、最後にもう一度役に立ってもらった方がいいでしょ。だから、切腹するか、薬を飲むか、好きな方を選んでもらうことにしたんだ。かわいそうだよね、本当に。
I couldn't think of anything to say. What sort of a choice was that? Death by your own hand, or madness and death by someone else's? The men that I'd encountered that winter night had their last thoughts as men been hope they might survive the madness? It sounded horrible.
簡単に強くなれる薬があれば便利だよね。実際は全然大したことなかったんだけど、僕たちでも簡単に切っちゃえるぐらい。
In a moment, I was taken back to that fateful night when Okita dispatched the warriors with white hair without any effort.
三男さんはこれからどうなるんだろうね。
I was worried too. Was Sanan-san okay? Would he change? My stomach was twisting itself into knots. And so the long night broke. The captains of the Shinsengumi gathered in the common room.
みんな安心してくれ。峠は越えたようだよ。
The room collectively breathed a sigh of relief.
で、どうなんだ、三男さんの様子は。
今はまだ寝てる。静かなものだよ。
今までの大使たちみたいになっちまってるのか、それとも。
Inoue simply shook his head.
確かなことは目を覚ますまでわからんね。見た目は昨日までと変わらないんだが。
Suddenly then, the door slid open.
おはようございます、皆さん。ご機嫌いかがかしら？
うげ、伊藤さん。
うげとはご挨拶ですのね。皆さん、お顔の色が優れない様子ですけど。
そりゃ朝っぱらからあんたの顔見たせいに決まってるだろうが。
まあ、長倉くんったら冗談がお上手ですこと。
Ito dismissed Nagakura's snide remark and he turned to face the standing warriors.
皆さんの顔色がよろしくないのは、もしかして昨晩の騒ぎと関わりがあるのかしら？
いや、だな。
Desperately, Kondo's eyes flew around the room as if looking for someone to offer an excuse.
よし、ごまかせその。
あ、俺か？実は昨日。
大根役者は出しゃばらないでくれるかな。 そういうのだったらもっと得意な人がいるじゃない。
Okita turned to Saito expectantly, and the latter spoke up at once.
伊藤参謀がお察しの通り、昨晩屯所内にて事件が発生しました。
まあ、事件ですって？
はい。ですが我々もまだ全容を把握できてはいない状況です。今の時点での説明は余計な誤解を招くばかりかと。ですので今夜にでも場を設け、詳しくお伝えさせていただきたく存じます。
そういうことですの。事情は分かりましてよ。今夜のお呼ばれ、心待ちにしていますわ。では、ごめん遊ばせ。
Ito brandished another strange smile, stood, nodded, and left the room promptly.
なんとか見逃してもらえたみたいだね。
What do you mean?
伊藤さんはなんだかんだで頭が回る人だからな。幹部が勢ぞろいしてる場に三男さんだけいねえんだ。あの人絡みで何かあったってことぐらいすぐ感づくだろ。
Oh. Ito had likely guessed that. Had likely guessed at what took place, but decided not to press the issue. I had looked up just in time to see Sanan-San shuffle through the door. Sanan-San!
そんな化け物を見るような目で見られても困りますよ。
三男さん、起きてていいのかい？
少し気だるいですがね。これも薬の副作用でしょう。あの薬を飲んでしまうと昼間動くことが困難になりますから。
Sanan-san looked a little pale, but it didn't look too difficult for him to stand and speak. But if it's hard for him to move during the day...
私はもう人ではありません。
Those words sunk our hearts heavily. Even the captains fell silent to his solemn admission.
いや、三男君、君が生きていてくれてよかった。我々はそれだけで十分だと思う。
Kondo-san stood and grabbed Sanon's shoulders tightly, his expression bright and endearing. Tears nearly welled in his beaming eyes.
それで腕の方はどうなんです？治ったんですか？
まだ本調子ではありませんからね。自分でもよくわからないのですが。
He lifted his left arm, the arm that before had hung limp at his side, and flexed his hand. It didn't look any different than before his injury.
治っているようですね。少なくとも不便がない程度には。
Thank goodness. In spite of the chaos from last night, his wish to use his arm once more came true. However,
あの薬を飲んだってことは昼間動けねえようになっちまったんだろう。それなのにタイムに参加なんてできるのか？
his voice was calm, almost careless.
解決策はあります。私が死んだことにすればいい。これから私は薬の成功例として羅刹を束ねていこうと思っています。
三男さん、それ本気で言ってるのか？あんた自分が何を言ってるのか分かってるのかよ？
分かっていますとも。長倉君、君こそ忘れたのですか？我々は薬の存在を伏せるよう幕府から命じられているのですよ。私が死んだことにすれば今までのように薬の存在を隠し通すことができる。 それにもし薬の持つ副作用を消すことができるのだとすれば、それを使わない手はないでしょう。
They seem to be against Sanan-san's idea, though no one said anything. Who would want to co-sign a friend to a life of secrecy lived in shadows? But
薬の実験は幕府からのお達しでもあるしな。そうするしかないか。
まあ三男さんが自分で選んだ道ですし、止めたって聞く人じゃないですよね。
よくわかっていますね。その通りですよ。
Hijikata scoffed at Sanan-san's suggestion, and bitterness frothed from his words.
豚書移転の話、冗談じゃ済まされなくなったな。三男さんを伊藤派の目から隠すには広い豚書が必要だ。ここじゃ狭すぎる。
同意します。薬の研究を続けるのであれば、なおのこと移転を急ぐべきかと。
よし、ろくに寝てねえとこ悪いが、話し合いを始めさせてもらうぜ。雪村、お前は部屋に戻ってろ。ゆうべ、ろくに寝てねえだろ。
Please excuse me. I bowed to everyone and left the common room. I'm happy the Sanan-san was safe, but a whole flurry of new concerns arose. Learning of my father's horrible work. What will become of me? Will I be safe? Such thoughts buzzed heavily in my head as I walked back to my room. Alright.